Welcome back to 0 to 60. Today in this video I'm going to be covering the Mppsk kit, or the M Performance Power and Sound Kit for BMWs 340i and 440i, etc. Now I'm going to be covering the cost of the kit, how the kit sounds, the aesthetics of the exhaust itself, the power and the torque gains, how it drives with the kit, and of course a 0 to 60 to see if there's any improvements. So let's get into it. So the deal breaker for me was I was looking into possibly buying an M4 and an M3. I wasn't really sure which I wanted to buy. I've had Tourings in the past, fast estates, 335i, that was pushing 520, 550 horsepower, E91, and it had all the big brake kits and the bird suspension B3 kit on it, etc. as well. And that was one of my favourite cars, and you know, day to day that car really, it superseded my E92 M3 in so many ways, because it was a day-to-day car that you could use for your family. You could fill up the boot, but it was seriously quick. You know, it would beat most things on the road. And when I sold that car, you know, there was a hole basically, and it took me a long time to find the 340i Touring that I've got now. And one of the main things that I wanted on that car was the Mppsk, or the M Performance Power and Sound Kit from BMW. It consists of a map that BMW do themselves on the car, and also a full exhaust. So that's from cat back all the way to the rear of the car, and that is a valved exhaust. So I mean, it's not a cheap option to tick. It was, you know, well over £2 grand, £2.5 grand to have it. But they claim that it was, the 0 to 60 was improved by 0.2, and the torque went up from 450 Newton meters to 500, and also the horsepower went up from 321 brake horsepower to 355 brake horsepower. But there's been claims that people are getting 370 horsepower from it, which is quite believable. But the main thing for me was the sound. I know the B58 always sounded good, but it just wasn't as good as my V8 M3 once I had an exhaust. And I looked at all the different exhaust options, and the Mppsk exhaust is, in my opinion, it's definitely one of the best options out there. It's quite stealth, so you know, the car still looks pretty standard with it, but when you switch it over, it just sounds incredible. Let's have a listen, shall we? Well, I thought that sounded epic. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and if you think there's any other exhaust that would be better. Now, moving on to power and torque, and let's find out what the 0 to 60 is with the M Performance Power and Sound Kit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my race box, which is what I use for all my timing. It's absolutely spot on. There's others out there that you can use, like the Draggy, but I do like this race box. It's just clear, very clear, it's instant, and I can see it when I'm doing any of my timing. So we're going to see if there's an improvement on the original 0 to 60 that they quote, and by how much. So yeah, let's get into it and let's find out how good the Mppsk really is. So I'm going to attempt a 0 to 60. .55. Not bad, just over 4.5 seconds. So that's definitely quite a considerable improvement over the 5 second to 60 that's claimed originally. I will give it another go, 1 or 2, just to see how it compares. Right, here we go. .4 to 60, and we've got a green light on that, so that means the ground is level. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. So yeah, with the Mppsk, not only get a beautiful sounding exhaust, but actually it does improve the 0 to 60 time from the claimed standard 5 seconds to 4.4. So that's 0.6 of a second quicker, which is, you know, considerable. So I was really surprised just how much the 0 to 60 improved with the M Performance Power and Sound Kit. That was over half a second quicker than the stated 0 to 60 of a standard 340i. So 2.5 grand is quite a considerable amount of money to spend, but there's other exhausts out there, titanium ones, etc., that do cost more, and you obviously get in the map with that. So overall, it's an expensive option, but definitely worth it. And if you're picking up a used 340i or 440i, it would definitely be one of the options that I would want on the car. You know, I looked for my 340i for quite some time, and in the touring form, they're very hard to come by with that M Performance Power and Sound Kit, but there's plenty of BMWs out there with it. So happy hunting if you're looking for a BMW. And yeah, I definitely tick that box and try and get that M Performance Power and Sound Kit. Now, do you think you can beat me at a 0 to 60? If you do, get in touch, because we're looking for new cars and subscribers to feature on the channel. Now, if you're wondering what it's all about, check out this video.